Welcome back to Appreciate Taste. Today we're going to make meatball subs. I love a good meatball sub. Sometimes going to a restaurant can get a little expensive, but when we make these subs, we're going to make them for the entire family, and it's not going to cost us an arm and a leg. Let's get started. We're going to start out with our meat. I like to use hamburger, about a pound of hamburger, and I like to use about a half a pound of mild Italian sausage. We're just going to put that in our bowl, kind of crumble it up just a little bit, mix it up a little. To that, we're going to add 1/3 cup of breadcrumbs, 3 cloves of garlic, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of dried basil, we've diced up 1 medium onion. That's going to give it a lot of flavor. We've also got 1 large egg. I've already scrambled that egg so that way it's ready to mix in with the rest of our ingredients. In addition, we want 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. Lastly, we want to put in a 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper. I like to use freshly ground black pepper. You can use whatever you would like. We're going to begin to mix this, and as we do, we want to keep in mind that we want to kind of get it all mixed together real nicely, and we want to make sure that it's nice and moist. We don't want it too dry. If I feel like that the mixture is too dry, I'll add a tablespoon or 2 of water as needed in order to make sure that we have it just the right consistency for our meatballs. Okay, looks like we've got this mixture ready to go. Looks like we've got everything mixed up just the way we need it. We're ready to start rolling. What I like to do is I like to use just a little scoop. That helps me keep the meatball at the right size. I just kind of scoop up a little of it here. Don't want them too big, don't want them too small, just about 1 inch around. We're going to just roll it. Really nice, easy to roll. Got a really nice mixture going on. Meatballs nice and brown. And I'm just going to place it on a plate. You can roll your meatballs as big as you like. It just depends on what size bun that you're going to use to put your meatballs on, if it's going to be made for a sandwich. If you're rolling them for spaghetti and meatballs, you can roll them a little bit bigger. That way you can have a nice hearty meatball to bite into with your spaghetti. If you don't have a scoop like I do, you can just use your hands. Dig right in, get you out a decent amount of hamburger, and just roll it that away. However you want to do it, it's going to be fine. Okay, I've got our pan heated up with about 2 tablespoons of oil in it, and we're ready to start cooking our meatballs. Just want to drop them in one at a time. You'll hear them sizzle. I'm going to put in, just enough to fill the pan up and have some room to move them around. Just turning the meatballs. We want to make sure they're brown on all sides. We don't necessarily want to cook them through. Basically what we're doing now is we're browning them. Once we add these meatballs to our sauce, they'll cook through and they'll be fantastic. Okay, we've got our meatballs browned. What we want to do is just take them out of the pan, place them on a plate. We want the paper towel on our plate so that the olive oil can just soak through the paper towel and kind of wick it away from our meatballs. Our meatballs, they look nice and brown, but they're not done all the way through. That's the way we want them. The next thing we're going to want to do after we get all these meatballs out of the pan, we're going to put them in our sauce. Now that we've got the last of our meatballs browned, we're ready to put them in our marinara sauce. You can cook your meatballs in marinara sauce in a 5-quart saucepan for about 30 minutes. You can get a crock pot if you have a crock pot at home, maybe on low for about an hour. What I'm going to use is a pressure cooker. With a pressure cooker, you can cook them in about half the time that you can cook them on the stove. Let's get started. Okay, we've got our pressure cooker ready. I'm going to add our meatballs in. We're just going to do this nice and slow. We don't want to splash our marinara sauce all over the place. Now, I make homemade marinara sauce. You can use any kind of sauce. You can use something from the store if you'd like. There's a lot of great marinara sauces. You can use spaghetti sauce if you'd like. Just whatever sauce you like. In another video, I'll show you how to make my very own marinara sauce. But for now, let's cook our meatballs. We want to make sure that our meatballs are covered in the sauce. We don't want to damage our meatballs. We want to be gentle, just kind of make sure that the sauce is covering all the meatballs. Let them swim around in there together like a happy family on a summer vacation. We've got all of our meatballs covered. That sauce tastes terrific. We want to place our pressure cooker lid on. This is an electric pressure cooker. I've got it plugged in. I'm going to set our time for about 15 minutes. That'll give our meatballs time to really mix with that sauce and soak up all those wonderful flavors. Okay, now we've got our meatballs out of the pressure cooker and we're ready to make our sandwich. I've got this nice hoagie roll here. It is a wonderful roll that we can put all of our juicy meatballs in. But before we do, we want to get this bread soft. It's already nice and soft, but we want to make it restaurant soft. And the way to do that, I've got a little garlic butter on the inside. We're going to take our hoagie roll. We're going to turn it upside down in a buttered pan. I've got the heat just below medium. And what we want to do is we want to cook that hoagie roll. Just kind of warm it up a little bit. Make it nice and soft. Maybe toast it a little bit on the inside. Okay. Let's see if this is nice and toasty. Ah, there we go. That's beautiful. We've got our bun nice and toasty. We're going to lay it down here on our plate. Turn off our stove. Add our cheese. The bread is nice and hot. And it's going to melt our cheese just right. Now, I'm just going to get some of these meatballs. Get them in that marinara sauce. Let's take them all. Look at that. These are fantastic. The thing about making your own meatball subs, you can control how much meatball and how much sauce that you get in that bun. I'm ready to take a bite of this meatball sub. The cheese is nice and melted and stringy. The flavor's terrific. That's one great meatball sub. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video on how to make meatball subs. I'd like to ask you to like us on Facebook. Visit us at www.appreciatetaste.com. And until next time, remember, make it